What's the best method to evaluate a real estate deal or any investment? So there's a lot of metrics that investors look at. You have cash on cash, you have the return on the investment overall, you have the internal rate of return, you have return on equity, equity multiples, things like that. So which one is the most important? What should you look at to know whether or not it's a good deal or not a good deal? Well, number one, you have to know what you're looking for. So what is your parameters? What are your requirements for a return as an investor? Are you looking for 8%, 10%, 20%? What is it that you look for, and what is a good return for you? So what you want to look at is you want to look at the return on that investment over time, which the best gauge of that is the internal rate of return. So if you put $100,000 into a deal that is a 5-year deal and you get a percentage of the cash flow, you get equity on the back end or profits on the back end when it sells, you add all that up over the life of the investment and you have your internal rate of return on that investment. It's a discounted cash flow model, very complicated formula, but at the end of the day, it basically measures the time value of that investment. Annual yield is another way to gauge that, the annual return on that investment. So if you put $100,000 into an investment and you get $300,000 back, that would be a 3 times equity multiple. So that means you earned 3 times on your investment. Sounds like a great deal, but if it took you 10 years, may not be such a great deal. If it took you a year or two, that's a much better time period and a much better return over time. So you don't want to look at what is the percentage of return. If you're looking at an opportunity that says, oh, we'll give you 50% on your money or 100% return or 20% return, whatever it is, you want to look at the time period. Okay, how long is it going to take me to get that 20% return? And is that an annual yield, or is that just over the life of the investment? So that's what you want to look at. What is the return on your cash over time? It's the time value of the investment, the velocity of cash flow. You want to measure it in terms of the discounted cash flows. What is that investment today worth compared to 5 years from now? And that's what the internal rate of return does. It's a very complicated internal formula and calculation, but that's what I look at. If I'm going to put money into an investment, I want to know what is that going to make me on a yearly basis. Then I always evaluate what else could I do with that money in another deal.